like to profit from AI forecasting bets? Michael Ulin will tell us how. And what's so special about Michael is he built Tenki, which is an AI forecasting infrastructure that hit 76% accuracy on 10,000 prediction market questions. And he's bringing rigorous probabilistic reasoning to traders on Polymarket and Kalshi with a vision to power all strategic forecasting. And before Tenki, he built 2 AI companies, Zesty AI. He was part of the founding team, and his climate risk models now underwrite $4 trillion in property insurance. And at Paxton AI, he's came from 0 to millions in ARR as CTO, building generative AI for legal research. And he collectively raised $78 million across both ventures. So, Michael, tell us about profiting from AI forecasting. First of all, I'm not a person who bets. And just before the podcast, I looked very briefly at what this is. And so tell us more about that. Like, for someone who doesn't normally bet, why should they use this AI forecasting tool?
AI Superwoman podcast with Lily Patrascu shares the world's most innovative AI tools and processes to go from technophobe to AI pro, attract leads, close sales, automate your business, enhance productivity, and deploy AI agents to do your work.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. For folks who haven't used prediction markets before, I think it's a really fascinating new financial market that we're seeing kind of emerge pretty rapidly. It reminds me a lot of how crypto evolved, first from kind of retail traders and then attracting more institutional capital. And I think that's kind of where we are today with prediction markets. They are very much focused on the retail average investor, average consumer. But I think we're seeing more and more volume come online to them, more and more interest. And that's why the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, a company called Intercontinental Exchange, invested $2 billion into Polymarket. So we're seeing this new asset class, seeing this new financial market come to life. And I think for us here at Tenki, this is a way of educating consumers, educating traders on how to best approach these markets and to think more probabilistically. So we're starting with prediction markets as kind of our wedge, but we think having more rigorous forecasts, having more probabilistic thinking could be useful for folks whenever they're making a decision. So thinking about what's likely to happen, what's driving uncertainty, what are the range of potential outcomes, and assigning a probability to those. Prediction markets make it super easy to kind of frame those sorts of questions or frame that way of thinking. For folks who aren't familiar with them, what you can buy on a prediction market is a $1 contract. So if the event happens, if what you're betting on happens, you get $1. And if it doesn't, then the value of that contract goes to zero. And it's a financial market, so these contracts trade until the event resolves. And so they can fluctuate in value between 0 and 1. And that price should approximate the probability of that event happening. So if a contract is priced at 50 cents and it's an efficient market, there should be a 50% probability of that event occurring. If you believe that there's a higher likelihood, say, you believe there's actually a 60% or 70% chance of that event occurring, then you can turn a profit by buying that contract or buying many of those contracts. And that's what we help people identify with Tenki. So we use AI to systematically analyze these markets, identify when there's a highly likelihood of an event occurring versus what the market says, and highlight those for our users as potential buying opportunities.
Thank you. So let's say someone has $1 million to use for profiting from AI forecasting bets. Give me an example of how someone would use your AI forecasting tool to make the most of that money.
Yeah, so there's two components to Tenki. One is a forecast of the underlying event, say who's going to win the election or who's going to win this particular sports game, this NBA game. So we come up with an estimate of what we think the probability should be. And then the second aspect is how to size an allocation based on that probability estimate. So many consumers, investors aren't great, at either, but aren't great at that second part of like, if I have a belief that something has a certain probability or likelihood associated with it, how much of my bankroll or how much of my investment should I place on that individual bet or investment? And we have a system based on decades of research that was actually developed out of Bell Labs, in the 1950s. But it's something called the Kelly Criterion, where we size your allocation, we size your bets according to how likely they are to occur and how confident we are in that prediction. So things that are more likely to occur and things that you're more confident in, you should allocate more of your bankroll or your investment to, and things that you're less confident in, and there's a smaller difference between the market price and the probability, you should allocate less to. So you never want to allocate 100% of your investment to any one prediction, bet, or investment. So you want to allocate a portion of that because there's still random things that can happen. There's still random variance in life. But if you're allocating over, say, a portfolio of these bets or investments, and you have a system like Tenki that actually has predictive power, a diversified portfolio of those bets or investments should generate positive return over many such bets. So, we would never tell you to put like $1 million on one thing. We would tell you to allocate bets according to our estimates and according to how confident we are, and then you would do that over many such bets, and then over time, you'll generate a positive return on those.
Thank you. Give me an example of what would be the difference between, let's say, me deciding that I know the UK will leave the EU as one of the forecasting bets, and let's say I'm very confident in that. How would me using your AI tool, how would that help me? Is it the fact that it has the 76% accuracy on 10,000 prediction market questions that it's more likely that it will be in my favor if I kind of follow your AI tool than if I just follow like my gut instinct, right? That's the whole idea.
Yeah, that's right. That's the idea. And Tenki does a lot of the hard forecasting work, a lot of the hard investment allocation work for you. So our AI can weigh different sources of information. Say we're taking the UK example. We're taking into account information from across the web, polling data, recent news, and you might be reading all of this, but how do I, if you read about a poll, should I weight that more highly or less highly than, a lot of social media chatter? And how do you make decisions between which sources of information are accurate? That's something that Tenki does automatically with our AI system. So we come up with our own probability estimate. So most consumers, if you ask them, like, do you believe the UK would leave the EU, they might say yes or no. But very few are going to say, oh, I believe that with a 75% probability, or I believe that with a 60% probability. And this is what you get with Tenki. And then you can compare that to the market price. So the prediction market might be trading at 50 cents or 60 cents. And if Tenki says, oh, it should actually be 75 cents, that's when you have a buying opportunity. So that's the one component. And then the second component is what we just talked about, the bet allocation component. So what percentage of my investments or my bankroll should I place on that bet if I do believe it has a 75% chance of occurring? Because you're not going to put 100% of your investments in that, but what's the optimal percentage so that you're not leaving money on the table, but you're not taking too much risk either. And that's what we give to you with Tenki.
Thank you. I assume, although I've never read it before, but I assume that you can make the most money if basically most of the market believes that something will happen, and your Tenki AI app believes the opposite, and then it turns out to be true what your AI app said, and you do invest. That's when you can make the most money. Whereas if it's a 50-50 kind of belief in the forecasting, then you will make less, but you will still make good money if you win. That's how it goes, right? Like,
yeah, the biggest opportunities are the ones where we're most confident in the outcome, and the market does not reflect that, or the market has a very different price. So if we believe something is like 90% likely to occur, but the market also believes it's 90% likely to occur, you might win that bet, but over time there's no edge there. There's no you'll eventually be wiped out by an event that occurs 10% of the time. So you'll be your bets will be wiped out, and you won't be appropriately compensated for the risk that you're taking. So what you need to do is actually look at where there's a difference between your beliefs or like Tenki's beliefs and what the market is pricing. That's actually how you can generate a return. But if you're just buying, say, something that is priced at 90 cents or 99 cents, and your probability estimate is in line with the markets, then there's no edge there, and then you're not actually making any money.
Thank you. Tell me about your personal success with Tenki. Have you used Tenki for your personal use, and has it worked out the way you expected?
Yeah. So we track more than just the weekly predictions. We track daily predictions, and our model portfolio is up over 500%, over 170 trades. And so, that's given us a lot of confidence, not only in the back testing that we've done with Tenki, but actually deploying, some small amounts of capital against the trades. So, not only have we done the back testing, but we're also actively monitoring how the system performs in real time and using those learnings to actually continually refining the AI and making it better and improving it.
Thank you. Can I ask, where does the Tenki AI information come from?
Yeah, so it's publicly available information. It's pulling in data from the internet, from social media. And then we have our AI system set up to appropriately weigh that information. So, if there's an event in the news, a lot of times people overreact to that. And that's when you see like a swing in price, like maybe there's a positive news story for a particular company or a particular team. And people get very excited about that. But you have to understand how that new source of information actually affects a forecast or the price, because there's this concept of reversion to the mean. So oftentimes in financial markets or in prediction markets, you'll see a new piece of information, the price spikes, and then ultimately goes back down to where it was before. So having a system that can help you weigh and understand that information and put it into context with all the other sources of information, that's where the value of Tenki is. So Tenki is not going to get overly excited about like a piece of breaking news or overly worried about something like that. We're going to put it in the context of what we currently understand and historical events that are similar to the one that we're forecasting now. So, you might see people with their own biases get very excited or get very worried about things in the news, and having an AI system that can be a bit more dispassionate, rational, and help you weigh those sources of information, I think will certainly help with folks' returns.
Thank you. What would you say is the main reason why Tenki AI is perhaps more effective in forecasting? Is it the thing that you just said, or is there something else as well?
Yeah, I think, versus people who are often doing this by, gut feel or a lot of people still make wagers on sports teams because they like that particular team, or, they heard a piece of news or information that they got very excited by. We've brought in kind of rigorous forecasting methodologies that have been proven out, over decades of research from fields like game theory, economics, political science, and we're having AI apply that in real time to these markets. So these techniques and fields, you can't know the future 100% for certain, but they've been shown to generate more rigorous and more accurate forecasts when applied. Historically, the problem has been you need like a PhD economist or statistician to actually apply one of these things, and it takes weeks of work. But now with AI, where we have this PhD level intelligence on demand very cheaply, we can make these sorts of rigorous forecasting methodologies available more broadly. And that's kind of our mission at Tenki, is to take what used to take a lot of effort and a lot of specialized experience or training or learning, and make that more broadly available cheaply, something that can be run in minutes, not weeks, and something that can be updated when new information comes in.
Thank you. How easy is it for a relative beginner to learn how to use Tenki AI to profit from forecasting events?
We make it super easy. You can sign up for Tenki, get a free trial, see if it's something that fits in with your workflow, fits in with how you make decisions, and then we're constantly releasing new educational content. So we just put out a piece on how to properly size investments or wagers, given your level of confidence and probability, or Tenki's level of confidence or probability. So we're constantly releasing new educational content about forecasting, about prediction markets, so people can go to the blog and the website to learn more about that. And then we're constantly looking for feedback from our customers. So if people try it and they have feedback, we love to hear from our customers how to make this more accessible, how to make this easier to use. So we're very responsive and customer focused when it comes to that stuff.
Thank you. Did you find that using Tenki AI for forecasting is more accurate in certain fields and certain topics, or is it across the board, 76%?
Yeah, that was across a wide variety of fields. And I mean, a lot of, you have to think about a lot of where information comes from and what kind of agendas people might have when delivering information. So if you watch the news, you might see a lot of people just expressing opinions, but it's not like a rigorous forecast about what will happen. We try to be very dispassionate and rational about that, and weigh all the sources of information appropriately, because we're trying to use this to make forecasts on prediction markets. I've found that to be kind of frustrating when I try to learn about a new topic, and I get news where someone might have an agenda that they're pushing, and I've used Tenki to just try to figure out what are the range of potential outcomes that might happen, say for the government shutdown, and when that will resolve, versus what someone's opinion or someone with an agenda might have. So I think it's a really helpful way for looking at the world and trying to figure out what may happen. You're not going to be 100% right all the time, but at least you'll have a good understanding of what the different outcomes might be, what actually drives uncertainty, and what are the probabilities associated with each outcome.
Thank you. For people that want to profit from AI forecasting bets, what is the process? Is it that Tenki AI is used as an information tool, and then you have to go elsewhere to actually put a bet? Or is it that it includes like a betting platform where you can actually put a bet within that same platform and profit?
Yeah, today Tenki is just an information service. So we provide you with the analysis, the identification of particular markets, but then it's up to you to make use of that information and make sure that all this stuff involves risk. So not wagering more than you can afford to lose, and making sure you're thinking about risk appropriately, because we're an informational service and we want to provide the most accurate, best forecasts available, and then it's up to our customers to make use of that.
Thank you. Where does someone go to profit from AI forecasting bets? Do they go to Polymarket and Kalshi, or do they go elsewhere to actually put the bets?
Yeah, it would be Polymarket or Kalshi. Those are the primary markets we highlight today. But there's more and more prediction markets popping up all the time. But I think, for customers who are interested in getting started, those are the most popular ones with the most volume. So that's a consideration that folks might want to take into account. Prices can swing wildly. You might not get good order execution if you go somewhere with low volume. So sticking to the markets with the highest volume, like Kalshi and Polymarket, should offer the best opportunities.
Thank you. What else would you like entrepreneurs who are investing in forecasting bets to know about profiting from Tenki AI?
Yeah, it's a new type of financial market. It's a new emerging investment class, and I think what's super interesting about it is that a lot of the forecasting markets, those returns are uncorrelated with other asset classes. So, with things like crypto, with bonds, with stocks, they all seem to now move in tandem with each other. But what I think is really interesting and cool about prediction market is it's something that's not affected by the moves of the economy or the stock market, so it potentially offers uncorrelated returns with those other markets.
Thank you. How many users does Tenki AI have, and have those users, have they managed to already report some profit?
Yeah, so we're just getting started. We have hundreds of users. Folks are welcome to come check out the platform. We offer a free trial, and yeah, we've had users see some success on the recommendations that we've made. But it's still pretty early for us. But the team behind Tenki is very experienced. I've been in AI for the last 15 years. So is my co-founder, and we both come from forecasting backgrounds in insurance, in technology, in consulting, and we're excited to be able to bring those rigorous techniques, bring those rigorous methodologies to a broader audience.
Thank you. Tell me about this psychology of successful investors leveraging that and Tenki AI to profit.
Yeah, I think having a more diversified view, having a more systematic view can be very helpful when making investments. So, any particular investment might not pan out, but if you have a portfolio of them, if you've allocated them well, then you can still generate a return. And I think people tend to get in trouble when they make decisions without a framework, just on gut feel. But if they have a system and they constantly think about how they should update that system, how they should take feedback about what they've learned from prior investments, and then use that to make updates to their framework or way of making decisions going forward, that's how the great investors have profited over time. That's how they've managed to see outsized returns. And that's what Tenki does when we're making thousands of forecasts every week. We see how they resolve We take learnings from the ones that went well, from the ones that did not go well, and we use that to update our framework, update our AI. And I think the most successful investors also use that same framework, that same methodology. But people who make investments or bets just because they're excited about one particular thing, that's when folks get into trouble, when they over allocate to something or do something because they're excited or fearful. You really have to have a framework and kind of stick by it in order to consistently make a profit.
Thank you. How can investors optimize the 76% accuracy and take it even further to a higher rate? What kind of information and where would they need to get it from in order to increase the likelihood of making a return on their investment, leveraging Tenki AI and some other information you may tell us about?
Sure. I think, there's a couple different ways. One from statistics is called ensemble modeling, and that's relying on more than one model or one piece of information when making a decision. So if you take Tenki and you have some other source of information or another model, generally leveraging them in conjunction can help you make better decisions. And then I think people do well on prediction markets when they are looking at markets where they have some sort of familiarity or some level of expertise in. So if you have an interest in, say, elections or politics or economics, looking at those markets might give you some more of an edge. Or if you're interested in sports, looking at those markets. So if you have some certain familiarity with how things work, some expertise, that's generally where people see outsized returns when they leverage their own expertise in a particular field in conjunction with a system like Tenki.
Thank you. How can investors keep cool under pressure when, let's say, they're analyzing Tenki AI forecasting information and they have some other conflicting information that is giving them another potential? What can they do to take the best possible decision for their forecasting?
Yeah, it's really hard not to get caught up in the emotions of investing, right? If you see something, if you see a lot of return on something, or if you've lost a lot of money on a particular investment, that can be really emotionally hard. So I think having a system, having a framework where you've decided in advance how you're going to make decisions and sticking with that can be very helpful. And then making sure you're well diversified. So not allocating everything to one bet or investment, but making sure you have the optimal allocation, which is something we help you with at Tenki. I think those two things can help you a lot and help you stay calmer when you're investing or making decisions. But if you have a lot riding on one thing, that's when people can start to panic or get excited, and that's when people can start to make poor decisions.
Is there any other information that's critical for profiting from AI forecasting bets with Tenki AI?
I think we've covered a lot of ground. I mean, folks are welcome to give it a try. We've tried to make it very easy to get started, and we're always looking for feedback on how we can improve and make it better, and what sorts of educational content we can deliver to folks. So encourage people to give it a try and reach out if they have any feedback on how we can be helpful.
Thank you. Tell us where investors can connect with you.
Yeah, so we're at trytenki.ai, trytenki.ai. And I'm on X and Twitter, LinkedIn. And so folks are welcome to connect with Tenki or myself on those platforms. Always happy to hear from people.
Thank you.
Follow me for more AI productivity tools.